All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to go ahead and call this regular city council meeting to order. First thing we're going to do is rise for a moment of silence, and please follow me in the Pledge of Allegiance. All right, thank you so much. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, Madam Clerk, roll call.
Mayor Jones.
Here.
Vice Mayor McPartlin.
Here.
All right. Here.
Councilmember Nunn.
Here.
Councilmember Matthews. Here. Councilmember Dodd.
Here. All right, next thing on agenda are agenda modifications. Lou, we do have one, Mr. Benton?
Yes, so one agenda modification, I would request that we add the item in regards to the golf course that has been provided to you all as item 12D on the agenda. And then also just for the public, once we get to item 10B, we will be requesting to table that item until a date certain of May 26th.
All right, Council, are there any other amendments?
No, sir.
Are we all in agreement with that?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, hearing nothing differently. Next thing on our agenda is proclamations, and we have two of those this evening. I will read both of those from up here, and then the council and I will come down and take photographs with the Coast Guard Auxiliary and put on some life vests, and then we will have our Public Works team come up and also take a photograph with the council, and if you wish to speak after that, you may, both of you. Okay, National Safe Boating Week, May 17th through May 23rd, 2026. Whereas recreational boating and paddling is a popular pastime in our community, enjoyed by residents and visitors alike. Whereas safe boating and paddling practices and consistent use of life jackets are essential to preventing accidents and saving lives on our waterways. And whereas the United States Coast Guard Auxiliary, in partnership with local agencies and organizations, is dedicated to promoting boating safety through education, vessel safety checks, and public outreach. And whereas National Safe Boating Week serves as an annual reminder for all boaters and paddlers to practice safe boating and paddling habits and to always wear a life jacket while on the water. Whereas the theme of National Safe Boating Week, Wear It, emphasizes the importance of life jacket use and encourages all boaters and paddlers to set a positive example for others. Now, therefore, I, Fred Jones, on behalf of the City Council of the City of Sebastian, do hereby support the goals of the Safe Boating Campaign and proclaim May 17th through the 23rd, 2026 as National Safe Boating Week and start of the year-round effort to promote safe boating. Our next proclamation this evening is for National Public Works Week, May 17th through May 23rd, 2026. Rooted in service, powered by community. Whereas public works professionals focus on infrastructure, facilities, and services that are vitally important to sustainable and resilient communities. And whereas these dedicated individuals plan, design, build, manage, and operate the infrastructure that supports our daily lives, including roads, bridges, fleet management, and stormwater. And whereas it is in the public interest for the citizens, civic leaders, and children in the City of Sebastian to gain knowledge and maintain an ongoing interest in understanding of the importance of public works and the public works programs in their respective communities. Now, therefore, I, Fred Jones, Mayor of the City of Sebastian, do hereby proclaim May 17th through the 23rd, as National Public Works Week, and urge all citizens and civic organizations to recognize the substantial contributions they make in protecting our health, safety, and advancing our quality of life. Now the council and I will come down and we'll take a photograph with each. And if you want to say something, sir, you may proceed. There should be a mic there. Is there a mic up there?
Well, good evening, Mayor and fellow council members, and distinguished guests, and fellow citizens of Sebastian. Yep. All right, my name is Dan Blankenship, and I'm honored to stand before you tonight on behalf of the United States Coast Guard and the Coast Guard Auxiliary as we kick off National Safe Boating Week. As we enter the busy boating season here along the Treasure Coast, this week serves as an important reminder that boating safety saves lives. Florida leads the nation in registered boats, and while boating is one of the greatest joys in our coastal community, it also comes with responsibility. The most important message that we could share tonight is, as you said, Mayor, wear your life jackets. The United States Coast Guard estimates that approximately 75 to 85% of people who drown in recreational boating accidents were not wearing life jackets. In many cases, the accidents themselves are survivable, but the lack of life jackets turn a preventable situation into a tragedy. Modern life jackets, are lightweight, like the one I'm wearing tonight, comfortable and designed to be worn all day. One simple decision can make a difference between life and death. National Boat Safety Week is also a time to encourage all boaters to take boating safety course, check their safety equipment, file a float plan, avoid boating under the influence, and always be prepared before heading out in the water. The United States Coast Guard remains committed to serving our community through boating education, free vessel safety checks, our public outreach programs designated to help keep our waterways safe for everyone. On behalf of the Coast Guard Auxiliary and the Coast Guard, I want to thank the City of Sebastian for your continued support of boating safety and for recognizing National Boating Safety Week. So at this time, I would like to invite you guys to donate a life jacket, and we'll do a picture. Don.
Room over here.
There we go.
We won't wait over here.
Testing, test.
Thank you, Mayor and council members. I just want to thank you for your continued support over this past year, and I want to thank these fine men in our Public Works Department, starting off with our Fleet Division, Road and Bridge, Stormwater, GIS, our Citizens Request Line is manned by Tierra and Debbie as well. Thank you for all your continued support. Great work.
Yes, sir. All right.
Did you get in? You guys who's going to come in and hold this? Come in here. All right, thank you. Here you go, Lee. Thank you, sir. All right.
Let me go ahead.
Oh, yes, go ahead. We're going to have the brief announcements by Councilmember Nunn.
Yes, sir. All right, brief announcements. Monday, May 25th, the Memorial Day observance, 11 a.m. at the Veterans Memorial. City Hall will be closed to observe Memorial Day. The council meeting originally scheduled for Wednesday, May 27th has been rescheduled for Tuesday, May 26th at 6 p.m. Also, on Friday, June 5th, the City of Sebastian Summer Kickoff Concert at Riverview Park featuring Hot Pink from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m.
All right, thank you so much for that. Our next agenda item is public input, and this is a portion where you can come up and speak on anything that's not on the current agenda. So public input is open for that reason. Anyone would like to speak? Yes, ma'am.
Hi, my name's Deborah Schellenberger, and I live at on Easy Street. I'm here to talk to you about the growth in Sebastian. I want to let you know that I'm not anti-growth. I know that growth in Sebastian is inevitable, but I think it has to be responsible, sustainable, and planned carefully. I think right now the needs and wants of Sebastian are a little out of kilter. We've focused so much on addressing, focus so much on the expansion that we're not addressing the problems that we already have. Like Councilmember Sherry said the other week, I do believe that we can grow in grace, but I think we need to address the problems that are here now before we address growing. We have problems with infrastructure, housing affordability, environmental concerns, and homelessness remain unresolved. And I'm not saying no to growth, I'm just saying not yet. I think what we need to do is address those other issues before we decide to get Sebastian bigger. And the decisions that you make today, I know you understand, are going to affect us today, and they'll affect us again in the future. So thank you.
All right, thank you so much, ma'am. Yes, sir.
James Clifton, Kane Street. I mailed 3 letters expressing concerns about the House Bill 1370 to all of you, our County Commissioner, Indian River Public Works Director, our State Representative, and Senator. The last 2 letters were addressed to the Florida Department of Environmental Control. The last letter, mailed April 29th, 2026, was also copied to the executive directors of the Indian River Lagoon National Estuary Program and the Marine Resources Council. I have not received any comment from anyone. I assume that all of you received copies left for distribution in the intercity mail. I was told by a reliable source that when the county finished the potable water installation, an offer was made to install sanitary sewers throughout Sebastian. However, the Sebastian City Council at the time responded with a no thank you. That less than smart decision puts us in the situation we are in today with House Bill 1370. In my mind, I cannot conjure up a responsible reason for that decision. The City Council must make some difficult decisions that were avoided by your predecessors. 1, working with the county, a sanitary sewer system for the entire city must be designed and installed. The makeshift on-site enhanced nutrient removal options is expensive for homeowners to install and operate, and on its best day, will not perform as designed. The state must be involved in planning and execution of the process to demonstrate good faith efforts to comply with House Bill 1370. To reduce the nitrogen entering in the lagoon, the only responsible option is a sanitary sewer system serving the whole community. So what prompted me to speak tonight? I am retired and honestly have other things I would prefer doing. When I looked at tonight's agenda, it's apparent that getting a development annex to Sebastian is a good thing. I don't know all the reasons why. I'm sure they're valid. But I do know that the stated water-related utility requirements in the proposal that I looked at are way too vague. They need to have a little more oomph put into them. I believe one of the proposed annexations actually contains a significant portion of the Sebastian River watershed, which opens up other concerns that need to be addressed for the lagoon's health. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much for that, sir. Is there anyone else in the audience? This is a public input on anything that's not on the current agenda. Anyone online?
No one has raised their hand at this time.
All right, thank you so much. Public input is closed. Next item on our agenda is consent agenda. Council, what's our pleasure on the consent agenda?
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as written.
And I'll second that.
Do we have a motion and a second? Yes, sir. Mr. Dodd, you have something on that?
No, I was just,
Okay, all right, so we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Do we have dollars? How many dollars we have? No, we can have a consensus on that?
No money.
Okay, good. Do we have a consensus?
Yes. Aye.
All right, good.
Yes.
All right, thank you. All right, next item on our agenda is committee reports. Do we have any committee reports?
Not tonight.
Not tonight? All right, very good. Next item is item 10, item 10A. I'm going to go ahead and open this hearing for item 10A. It's O-26-03, petition for voluntary annexation, second reading. Hearing is now open. Mr. Attorney.
An ordinance of the City of Sebastian, Florida, providing for the voluntary annexation for land consisting of 204 acres more or less located south of 77th Street, east of 74th Avenue, north of 73rd Street, and west of 66th Avenue, providing for the extension of the corporate limits and boundaries thereof, providing for severability, providing for conflicts, providing for codification, providing for scrivener's errors, and providing for an effective date.
All right, thank you so much for that. Staff?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
may I, just for anybody in the audience who may be looking at the agenda packet that was mailed out, we have an updated copy of that ordinance in front of us that includes a whereas clause that was not in the agenda packet. Should we read that so that the audience?
We can't. This, actually, do you have it? Because I just have one that was posted.
We had two. There was only one missing, right?
Yeah,
So,
there was one whereas clause, which states, whereas the owners of the real property described herein and the City of Sebastian have entered into an annexation agreement approved April 8, 2026, setting forth certain terms and conditions under which the annexation will be governed. This was brought up at first reading, and you amended the ordinance prior to approval. The old one just got posted online,
I just want to make sure.
But this was it.
Yeah, I just want to make sure anybody in the audience who was looking at the agenda packet realized that was going to be what was in the approved tonight, so thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Ms. Bernard?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. We will start tonight with a PowerPoint presentation that kind of goes over the application before you tonight. It's for here we go. It is for Sebastian Pines as the request. Sebastian Pines LLC is the overall applicant. As the city attorney stated, it's south of 77th Street, east of 74th Avenue, north of 73rd Street, and west of 66th Avenue. They're requesting 204 acres more or less, and their request is to be annexed into the city limits of Sebastian. Here is a slide showing you the location of the subject parcel. You can see the adjacent land uses to the west is going to be cities of Sebastian city limits, which is the Graves Brothers property. And to the northeast and south, it's all county agricultural 1. So the existing boundary is to the west of 74th Avenue. I don't know. Okay. And so looking at comprehensive plan consistency, analysis of the area in accordance with the comprehensive plan data, inventory, and analysis, a conceptual development plan has been presented that proposes a very low density land use, which means which meets the requirements of the city's comprehensive plan. The land development regulations will provide final determination of development standards and permitted uses within the proposed development at the time of site planning, so at a future meeting date. This was the conceptual plan that was submitted to our office. And we'll go on and we'll look at public facilities and services. And transportation, the analysis has been provided and has found that the new development on the subject site has the potential of roughly 4,500 trips to the surrounding roadways. However, planned roadway improvements will help mitigate these impacts. In addition, additional review and analysis will be required during the development and approval process. Water and sewer, if annexed, utilities will be provided by Indian River County through an existing agreement with the City of Sebastian. Stormwater, the property is within the Indian River Farms Water Control District. Future development must meet City, Indian River Farms Water Control District, and St. John's River Water Management Stormwater District. Standards, recreation. The proposed development meets the city's recreational requirements. In addition, future development will also contribute part dedications of recreational impact fees to support additional facilities and programs. And when we look at annexation criteria, the compactness, the proposed annexation is a compact parcel of land. It's contingent, it's contiguous to what the western boundary is, and it is meets the requirements of Florida Statute 171.044. So then we look at public benefit, and so 3 public benefits that we're looking at. It would increase the tax base. The annexation will increase the tax base for the city. Development standards. The potential for development will follow city development standards with annexation, and recreational funds. A contribution to the recreational trust fund has been agreed upon as part of the annexation agreement. And with that, staff recommends approval of the request to annex 204 acres known as Sebastian Pines.
All right, thank you so much for that. Is the applicant ready?
Good evening, Ken Toom with Urban Design Studio, planning and landscape architecture firm. We have our whole team assembled this evening for the subject property. We did give you a very thorough presentation last time. This is on second reading. At the first hearing, you approved an annexation agreement. The application, as Ms. Bedard indicated, is consistent with that annexation agreement. I can walk you through a PowerPoint presentation. But I would like, or I could go ahead and just do a couple highlights, which I think are important. And then if you need the full presentation, happy to do it after public comment if you'd like.
Highlights.
I figured it would be highlights, my bet. So first thing, we have our whole team assembled, and the team is here this evening, can answer any questions that you may have, including the developer, Mr. Collins is here. We have our civil engineer, Mr. Mills here. We have Mr. Robeck, our attorney, and also the team here from Urban Design. So as I indicated earlier, we've already discussed the annexation agreement. You've approved that resolution. What is in front of you this evening is the annexation, which is an ordinance on second reading. You approved it at first reading. I want to be very clear for everybody in the audience, what you're approving this evening is not a site plan, not a PUD that would come later down in the process. So what I want to get you to here is this slide. Oops, I'm sorry. This slide. So the subject site on the west side is the Graves property, and the Graves property is located within the city of Sebastian. Immediately to the east is the subject property that's proposed to be annexed. It's 204 acres, as Ms. Bedard indicated, and it is contiguous to the city of Sebastian along its western property line. That's an important thing on how Florida Statutes 171.044 work. It is also compact. You can see on the screen in front of you that it meets the compactness requirements. Jumping ahead through the slideshow quickly. So that is how we meet the criteria of 171.044. Also, as a city, you've heard me say this before, your city has been forward-thinking. You have in your comprehensive plan annexations. A lot of municipalities and jurisdictions do not. You have this built into your comprehensive plan, and that requires two things. One, that we provide an annexation study that Mr. Mills went through in detail last time, and then number two, that we have submitted for a land use change if it's greater than 10 acres. We have made that application. That application is at your very low residential density. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions you may have from our team or walk through an entire presentation. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much for that, sir.
Yes, sir.
This is a part of the meeting. Is there anyone from the public who would like to speak on this item?
Good evening. My name is Gary Combs. I live in the unincorporated area of Indian River County. I live about a mile from this. Just heard about it about a month ago. I don't like it. A lot of people don't like it. It is what it is. It's kind of like the camel's nose under the tent. You guys approved the Graves Brothers property some time ago, and it's not even developed yet. You want to tag on to that. I know it's good for the city. I got that. But I don't think you're looking at the neighbors. It's not good for the rest of the unincorporated part of the county. You're looking at a density, it's called low density, is what you guys are calling it. And I believe it's 3 per acre. And the county there allows 1 per 5 acres. So that's 15 times more than what the neighbors next door are already experiencing and have experienced for years. I don't get it. I'm going to go on a little bit of a tangent. State of Florida allows people to have shooting ranges on their property. There's someone that is high-ranking, retired law enforcement from your city, lives within a quarter. I don't want to dox him. I told Mr. Nunn who it was. If you guys need to know, ask him. They live within a quarter mile of this project, and they have a gun range. I don't think any of your analysis has studied that and said, hey, what else could maybe influence these people? You're going to have people move in, and they're going to be listening to shooting. And it's what people do. People have done for years. Also located about 2 miles from this project, and I live 3 miles, so I can give you kind of what that is. I can hear it. Vero Beach Shooting Clays is out on 82nd Avenue. And they have all kinds of shooting programs. They're open all the time. They have big tournaments. I don't mind it by any means. I don't mind any of this, but you can hear it. So you're going to have to deal with that. So I just don't understand why you guys are wanting to allow something to come along when you haven't even taken and used or allowed to develop the other that was annexed years ago. It's been said that you want to do this because you can't control what's done outside your border. Well, you do this now, and there's still something outside this new border. and there's something outside to the south of this border. And so where does it stop? Where's it? And the first thing that comes to my mind was, hey, a couple years ago, Russia took over Crimea. Well, then they went into Ukraine. So when we do these expansion things in life, it might be good for you, but what's it doing to the other neighbors that are still there and have to now change their way of life of living somewhere that was very rural, and now you have 900 people across the street? Just doesn't make sense to me. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, sir. All right, great. Yeah. Sorry.
That's the short guy position. Good evening, comrades. My name is Mike Johansson. I'm the chairman of the Indian River Neighborhood Association, some 2,000 members in the county. I have here, but I'm going to leave with the clerk. On our website, we had some people express their opinions of this annexation. 500 of the 700 people were citizens of the city of Sebastian. 500 voted no. So let me suggest to you that if you really think that you're representing the people in this decision, that a proper way to proceed might be to make it a referendum on this November election. That way you'd find out what the citizens of Sebastian truly think of your annexation plan. Yes, it's going to cost $25,000, and I would suggest that that's a cost that should be passed on to whoever's requesting the annexation as a precondition for approval. First point. Second point, Mayor Jones, when I was listening to him on the Bob Seuss show, said, we have to get a handle on this growth. We're growing entirely too fast. And Mayor, I couldn't agree more. When I asked the question at the last meeting about the first reading of the annexation, why I wouldn't consider this urban sprawl, the answer was, well, this is going to annex to the Graves Brothers property, which has got a town center concept to it. Okay. Graves Brothers property does not have concurrency. They don't have water. They don't have sewer. Is the Graves Brothers Town Center building and plan really to be considered a precondition to annexing any additional properties they're going to annex onto this? And I'll offer as a real-world example, Vero West, which was Point West, which was developed and approved on a town center concept, and the houses were built in the town center never materialized because we had a housing bust, and the Indian River Mall closed, and blah, 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 blah. You know the whole story. Finally, my last point is if the idea is that they're going to provide their own water and sewer treatment plant there, I would suggest that you look into what the city of Vero Beach is doing. They started moving the water and sewer plant off of the lagoon out to the airport. Initial cost of $80 million. It's now $150 million and not done yet. And it's taken 5 years to do it.
All right, sir. Thank you. Your time is up.
Pumps and pipes going up. Thank you, Mayor.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Yes, sir.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. My name is Russell Herman, representing the Friends of St. Sebastian River. I'm here tonight because we vehemently believe these annexations are a mistake, and I'd like to explain why. The properties before you tonight sit outside the urban service area. Under county zoning, They are agricultural land, one home per 5 acres. That zoning exists for a reason. The infrastructure isn't there. The roads aren't there, the water and sewer capacity isn't there, and yet you're being asked to dramatically increase density on these parcels with no detailed plans for these services. Study after study has shown that resident annexation does not pay for themselves. The tax revenue from new homes does not cover the services those residents demand. The shortfall gets shifted onto the people who already live there. We will be subsidizing growth we didn't ask for. Then there's the environmental cost. Every acre we convert from open land to pavement increases stormwater runoff and nutrient loading into the St. Sebastian River and Indian River Lagoon. We've watched this happen up and down the coast. We know how this story ends. Hundreds of residents signed a petition asking this council to halt annexations. They're not anti-growth. We're not anti-growth. But we are against converting agricultural land outside the urban service area without a funded plan for roads, utilities, and environmental protection, and then asking us, current residents, to foot the bill. Because from where we are sitting, you're not controlling growth, you're enabling it. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much for that, sir. Next.
Name is Pasquale, and I live on Wimbrow Drive. I'm a refugee from Martin County. I've seen what annexation, what urban sprawl has done to a rather nice place to live. You're heading down the same road of destruction. You annexed 2,000 acres for projects. Now you want to take in 200 more. How many more hundreds of acres are you going to annex? How many more developers are going to come up here and say, Indian River County is open for development, let's go. And they're moving here because I see businesses that were located in Martin County locating up here. This is where you're headed. This is the path you're taking. And I'll tell you another thing. The more you annex, the higher the taxes we have to pay for services. The residents that are here now, that would rather not have this development. It's a fact. It is not theory. I can give you example after example, including my own. So before you annex this or any other properties, and I see there's another one on here, do some thinking. It says on here, business impact estimate. Their estimate is so full of holes that they're going to get rich and we're going to pay the bill through you. So there it is, straight fact.
All right, sir, thank you so much. Next. This is not a clapping contest in here. This is business getting done. If you all want to understand what's happening, please allow the process to play out. We understand that everyone has opinion on one side or the other, but we must listen to all. That's our job up here, is to listen to everyone and give everyone the opportunity to speak and be heard without any distractions. So, yes, sir, it's your time.
Yeah, I'm Richard Baker, board chair of the Pelican Island Audubon Society, and I'd like to thank you for allowing us to have some discussion in here. You've got the IRNA, really strong organization, came on here strong a few minutes ago, and the CWC, Judy Orcutt, president, sent you all a letter yesterday you should have gotten about the water issues that are facing us. And I know development is occurring here. Indian River County and Sebastian's a beautiful place to live. So people are coming down here, and so you're under a lot of pressure to increase. But I think we really need to do it properly in the best way. We just can't go accesses and annexing in and putting more houses in and more roads and schools and things like that for kids. Doing some adjustments to our rules and regulations that we have. And you got to work with the county and the cities. I mean, it's a big county problem. It's a Florida problem, but so the water issues that's been explained to you by other speakers is, I think, really quite important. A lot of this water is going into the lagoon, and we need to do something to save our lagoon, because that's where all our money is coming. People come down here because of that lagoon, and we need to take care of that. Already the lagoon has been impaired by the Clean Water Act, and the council should then have a detailed nutrient loading analysis of both developments that are coming on before you today, and to make sure that's done in a proper way. And so far I haven't seen any of that developed for providing that information to you. And also, this is just not you're going to have another one and another one and another one. It's just kind of going on. We ask you to recognize the water, both the water we drink and the water that sustains the lagoon system, depends on us to keep it. We're losing our water. We're losing our clean water. We're gobbling it up, and it's not right. And just for example, is the trees. We need to have better tree ordinances, both at the county level and both at the city level. You probably require 1 or 2 trees to be put in, but most of the time after the approval is gotten, they yank them out. I see them actually in Sebastian. They yank out the tree, a small little tree like that they're supposed to put in, and put in a palm. And a palm tree is kind of misnamed. It's not a tree, it's a grass. And a lot of life and things that trees do for us are not found. Trees are important for our health, for us, our kids, and our wildlife. Kids in tree areas live better. It's good for our economics. It helps us preserve our water, and it's good for our health. And so I would like to see us do more landscaping. How you want those landscapes on these new houses going in? This should be done before you give approval for something like this.
All right,
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. All right, is there someone else? Yes, sir, come forward.
Jeff Hamilton on Pinoka Street. I want to start by asking, have you heard the one about the city that respected their citizens' votes and turned down a developer? Oh, wait, that's Fellsmere. Onto the incessant, nonstop parade of developer-friendly, taxpayer-burdening annexations that keep getting approved. To paraphrase the oft-miscited Rita Mae Brown, the definition of insanity is approving more developer annexations, expecting a different result each time. This city continues to follow this mantra, following the same blueprint each time. The biggest boondoggle sham was the Gabe's annexation. As presented to residents, it was going to greatly increase our tax base, etc. For 2025, adding up the municipal tax for all the parcels in the Graves development totaled a grand total of $2,213. So over 3 years, we've had to provide law enforcement, other issues to that area, and brought in about $6,600. I'm sure our actual costs were greatly exponential to that. To compare, there's another small parcel on the other side of Roseland that connects tenuously via Collier Club. The city border is the small bridge crossed diagonally and includes a few hundred feet of Roseland Road at that point. As per a response from Councilperson Nunn to a post of mine, that is not Sebastian PD's jurisdiction. Well, it's in Sebastian, why isn't it? So since it isn't, why do those 22 parcels pay Sebastian a total of $18,857 yearly as of their 2025 trim notices, or 8.5 times what Graves Brothers pay? One parcel is paying us taxes and has no access to the city except pulling out onto Roseland Road on county area. Where is the benefit, as I'm sure our costs of providing even minimal service for the last 3 years far exceeds this amount exponentially and are being carried by the rest of us? This is government-provided developer welfare. What guarantee that Sebastian Pines will be any different? Having seen their presentation and having been in the industry for 47 years, I know no developer puts out as much as that presentation cost without knowing the outcome. Drive around and count the bankrupt, abandoned ghost developments. Years later, someone picks up the pieces, but who carries that burden until then? Why doesn't the council get proactive, work with the legislature and the county to attain common sense annexation? It has been done elsewhere in the state and other counties. We enter or exit Sebastian or run along its border approximately 14 times if we ride US 1 from south of Barber Road up to Roseland Road and then to 512. And there is plenty of taxable commercial property, as you all mentioned a month ago, need commercial property for the tax base and the income,
All right, sir.
as well as
Your time
existing
is up.
infrastructure, including sewer.
Yes,
Thank
sir,
you.
your time is up. Thank you so much for your input. There we go again. People, adults do not learn. Is there someone else? Yes, sir. Which one? Someone in the back, are you coming up?
Nope. Wanted to show something about the Grace property. It does impact us a little bit. Can you see it? Not yet. Can they bring it in? Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to point out.
Who are you, sir?
Mike Walker. I live on 73rd Street. I did some research on the acquisition of the Grace property as it relates to the Sebastian Pines, because Sebastian Pines connects to the Grace property. If you look at this drawing, you'll see circled there, that's the connection of the Grace property to Sebastian. That's about 300 feet wide, and it represents about 0.7% of the total circumference of the Grace property. That, according to the state law, is supposed to be compact and contiguous over a substantial portion of the boundary. This obviously fails in that respect. So I would say that the Grace property should never have been approved as part of Sebastian.
Point of order. We're
yes.
not discussing the Grace Brothers
Right, yeah.
annexation, Mr.
We're
Mayor.
not, yeah. I agree, Mr. Dodd. Anybody have anything different? So
I
what
couldn't
are
hear-
you
couldn't hear
discussing
you.
about this, sir? We're not discussing the Graves property. You're going into the Graves. We're not going to go back and litigate that. That ship has sailed. The Graves property is in the city now. So what is your other point?
Well, the point was is that I wasn't sure that that was a legal acquisition.
Well, of course.
If it
it's
did,
in
it
the
would
city.
have impact on the further attachments to it. And one more thing, though, is that I believe that you should at least develop the Grace property prior to adding any more, because you have 2,000 acres there to develop, and as I see it, nothing's been done.
Okay. All right. All right. Thank you for your input, sir. Yes, sir. You can come forward.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Bob Stephen. I live at 150 Concha Drive. Been a while since I've addressed you guys. Thank you for your service. I'm here because I'm a little concerned with what's going on, and I don't think I've ever seen a city that's been this unorganized. I think maybe you got to get yourself together before you get it any bigger. You haven't figured this out yet, Mr. Mayor. You know, we have no emission laws. We can go on and on about this stuff, but we're still using an Agent Orange type cocktail to kill weeds. Come on, we can do a little better than this. And you want to get bigger? What's next? You know, this reminds me of the pilot, you know, big jet, gets on the loudspeaker and says, "Ladies and gentlemen, I got good news and bad news. The bad news is I'm lost. But the good news, we're making up time."
All right. Thank you, sir. So much. Yes, sir. Come forward.
Good evening, Chuck Meckling, 1765 Laconia Street. And I am a proud developer in the city of Sebastian. One of your earlier speakers lived in our first subdivision we developed, Collier Club. We brought sewer down Roseland Road, and we were the first water sewer, curb and gutter, closed drainage development in Indian River County, in Sebastian, Florida, I should say. And it was a proud and worthy development that today holds its standards. And when we talk about the misinformation of how many police trips and things like this. It's the quality of what we do that directs what happens. That's what we try to do when we strive with these things. Today, I'm the developer of the Spirit of Sebastian. We are an agri-hood. We have many hardwood trees on every lot that exceed the need or the code of the city, but we have worked with city staff who is exceptional. And I have been in front of you, council members, and I believe you're exceptional. And I understand that you have a vision for the future of what's going on. There's no development that can go out into this area that doesn't have the ability to provide water and sewer. The earlier speaker that talked about having sewer lines, how do you get them there? If you approve Sebastian Pines, it will extend water and sewer lines. That has been a comprehensive concept with Indian River County Utilities to provide that service into an area that's not currently. Who's going to do the roads? The developer is going to do the roads. Who's going to pay for it? The developer is going to pay for it. If people truly understood how much money and what risk we take to provide those services that will help eventually provide the city of Sebastian the ability to loop sewer systems into the north section from the area of the Sebastian Pines and through the Graves property. And it's a vision concept, and I know that this council understands and hears the reality of what takes place because you have the accurate information from Indian River County on the ability to provide water and sewer and the other services. The question is the developer a person that you can believe in and trust and do the right thing for Sebastian? I have met the people of Sebastian Pines, and I would say yes, and I would ask you to approve their development. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much for that, sir. Yes, ma'am, come forward.
I'm Louise Gottenberg. I live on Oswego Avenue in Sebastian, and I have lived there for over 30 years. I'm here tonight to just say two things. The first thing is the reason so many people get so upset about the idea of a change happening in Sebastian is because many of them have only gotten here in the last 3, 4, maybe even 10 years. And they recognize it as a quality place to live. The thought of it changing is frightening, but because it is a quality place to live, I want to tell you it wasn't born that way. It's through the efforts of our city employees, our volunteer committee persons, our city councils who have carefully monitored the changes that take place. I can also tell you that I get very frustrated with purposely misleading information that is distributed to people. And it's like sometimes they are the sins of omission. There is not a subdivision built in this city that doesn't have complete plans for drainage, landscaping, all of the infrastructure that's required. It simply doesn't happen. That all has to be there before the first shovel of dirt turns over. And as far as the developers are concerned, and nobody cares about them, they have millions invested before they ever cash in $1. And of course, when you own the land, you have the right to use the land. Everybody would like to have beautiful orange groves, but you know what? That doesn't happen anymore because the orange groves die. That doesn't mean we should force those people to use that land and continually try to plant orange trees that won't grow. I can make a guarantee, and you can come after me if you want to, 10 years from now, and I guarantee you that I will be right and you can apologize. Whether that land is in the city of Sebastian or not, it will be developed. The benefit of that land to Sebastian is not the tax revenue that it will bring. It is not the good neighbors that it will bring. It is the control that Sebastian will have over what gets developed and how it gets developed. And that's the most important thing. And I can tell you that the people who are in charge of that did not roll off the turnip truck last week. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much for that. Anyone else? Do we have anyone on Zoom?
No one has raised their hand.
All right, public input is closed. We'll go to council for deliberation. Mr. Dodd?
Thanks.
We'll put you on the hot seat tonight. We're starting to the left.
I just have one comment, and in the application, there's a reference to the conceptual plan, and I think the city staff showed that it's not actually included in this document, and I'd like to see a copy of that included in the document so it's a part of the record of what we approve. It's not included in our packet, and it's not included in the document that was presented with this ordinance. And I think a copy of that conceptual plan should be in the document attached to the ordinance that we approve.
If I may address the council, we will submit as part of a record. It's in my PowerPoint. It will become part of the record.
Okay. I just want to make sure it's part of the record. Okay. That's it. And, you know, I made all my comments the last time that we talked about this. So I can understand the fear of growth, and I thoroughly can. I can understand I understand that people worried about utilities, but the fact that they won't build it if it doesn't get utilities from the county, it's that simple, because we won't allow them to do it. And the county has already committed to provide utilities. They've also committed to provide utilities to the Grace property. There is a study underway right now on the part of the county utility to try to come up with a plan to provide county sewer to the entire city of Sebastian. I'll be highly interested to see how that works out and how much money they want to do that, but they're coming up with a plan to do that. So I'm not uncomfortable with this, Mr. Mayor. That's my comments.
All right, thank you so much. Ms. Matthews?
I'm good with what I went over last time, so.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Nunn.
You know, I got a lot to say.
Well, we got a couple of questions you're going to answer from some statements.
I do have some statement questions to answer. So first of all, I'm going to address why the property is zoned agriculture. It's zoned agriculture because it was an orange grove. It's not zoned agriculture because there's no infrastructure. Well, of course there's no infrastructure. It was an orange grove or a cow pasture. So the only way to change it from what it was, being dead, as an orange grove, is to change it from agriculture. It wasn't made that way to stop it from being built into something. People say that the water and the sewer is going to be on the backs of the taxpayers. Well, for this property alone, this developer is paying the county $2.5 million in impact fees for water and sewer. Now, sounds like that's probably not a lot of money, except for the fact that they're also paying for all the infrastructure themselves as well. So they're going to bring the sewer down the road, they're going to bring the water down the road, they're going to run it to every single house. The infrastructure is on the developer for this development. On top of that, they're giving the county $2.5 million to put towards their infrastructure. So this isn't on the backs of us. They're literally paying for it and then paying for it again as part of the project. Somebody said something about this going into Sebastian. This isn't going into the Sebastian Water River District. This is going to Indian River Farms Water Control District. This will never see the Sebastian River. That's not where this stormwater will be headed. It will be maintained on site, and overflow will go to the Indian River Farms Water Control District. As far as the infrastructure for the road to get there, 510 is a project being done by the state. They have begun up by the high school. They're working their way all the way to US 1 till they build the beautiful circle at 66th and then move that humongous bridge across to US 1. Can't wait to see it. Sounds terrible. But they're building it. They're building the infrastructure for the road to take care of the issues on 510. Somebody said something about Indian River County being open for developers. What you said couldn't have been any more real. Indian River County is open to developers. That's even more of a reason for us to annex this property into the city, because they just approved a project this past meeting that's outside of the urban service boundary because it met the criteria. It's within 1,500 feet of the urban service boundary, which, by the way, this property is, and they have to pay for the infrastructure, which they are. So if we don't approve this, the county will approve this, where it sits outside of the urban service boundary, because they meet the criteria that the county has, 1,500 feet, and they pay for the infrastructure, which they're doing anyways. This developer, that people that say there's no planning, they've been working on this project with the county for the past 2 years. This is part of the time they've talked to the city about this project. They're not just randomly coming up and saying, I want to annex this property. They've been working on it and spending the money on the engineering and everything else for the past 2 years. This isn't something, I hear people say we're not planning. That's all we're doing is planning. Everything we've done is plan for what we're doing. Yes, if you want to know the answer, the truth is, I would be willing to support almost any annexation for the property that surrounds our city. I will. Why? Because if we don't control it. We get all the extra negative of the people without any of the benefits and not any of the control, and they can build whatever the heck they want. At least we have standards that are a little higher than theirs, in my opinion. Yes, we are working with the county. We've been working for the county for 6 years. We had a joint meeting with them a couple years ago to try to get a joint project going to get sewer for the entire city. People keep saying they want it. They're not going to want it once they find out the price tag it's going to cost us all. I live here, and I know it's going to cost a lot of money because they're going to have to dig up every single road to put pipes down it, and it's going to be a huge project. Does it need to happen? It does. But it's not going to be something you're happy about when it's forced upon you by the state, which they're already doing. It needs to happen. We're doing it as much as we can. We did it. We paid for the pipes to go down Roseland Road to put those properties on sewer, as well as the airport complex. We're doing everything on the river where the septic tanks are close to the river. We are doing everything we can as a council and a city to help protect that river as the best we can. Everything's not perfect, I can't tell you that it is, but I can tell you that this staff and these council members that I sit up here with and Vice Mayor McPartland work really hard for the city to make sure we protect it and the citizens. Thank you.
Wow, enough said, right? I also heard just a couple little things I heard tonight talking about trees and different things of that nature. This city, I believe it's been 25 years now that we've been named Tree City USA. So what does that tell you about trees and the things that we're doing to protect the environment here within the city? And there's another portion of this, is the city of Sebastian has had an agreement with the county since 1995 to provide water and sewer to the city of Sebastian. Is the city of Sebastian covered with sewer or anything? No, only new developments that have come in. Those are things that should have been taken care of a long time ago, and we all agree with you all that we need that here, and we all need to make sure the county follows up and we get this thing done so that we can take these septic tanks off so that that lagoon can be out there for the future for my grandkids, your great-grandchildren. It's one of the things that I'd like to see is this beautiful community that I've been here over 35 years and I still see this as a beautiful small community. My wife and I raised our kids here. I'm getting ready to raise a grandchild here because my kids came back home. So I think this is a wonderful community, and believe me, when we look at these things, we look at every single thing. We just don't sit here and make a decision based on impulses. There's a lot of things that happen. There's a lot of planning that takes place. Our council are part of all of the planning commissions on the Treasure Coast and throughout the state, as well as the county. And so we're all involved with those planning organizations. We do work together. So it's not like this is something new that has come up that we're just making a rash decision. We have been planning for years, and this will continue. The planning will continue because this city will remain sustainable because we have things in place right now to ensure that. And that's all I have. We're going to call for a motion. Okay.
I was going to say, Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve ordinance O-26-02.
Do we have a motion? Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
We have a second. Any other discussion? Madam
Mr.
Clerk,
Mayor,
roll call.
if I could.
Oh, hang on.
Did I read the wrong number? I read
Is
the
it
wrong number. I
03?
apologize. I'm going to recall that motion.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to approve ordinance O-26-03.
There you go.
Thank you.
I'll second.
All right, so we have a motion and a second. Mr. McPartland, do you have anything?
Yes, I mean, I don't have much to add that hasn't already been said. But again, as far as planning the city of Sebastian, this annexation and the future land use designation are consistent with our already adopted future land use element of the 2040 comprehensive plan, which we all spent, I don't even remember how many years getting that into completion. And then again, I have faith in the city controlling the property and making sure it's done correctly.
All right, thank you so much for that, sir. Madam Clerk, roll call.
Councilmember Nunn.
Yes.
Councilmember Matthews.
Yes.
Vice Mayor McPartland.
Yes.
Mayor Jones.
Yes.
Councilmember Dodd.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, thank you so much for that. Our next item is item 10B, and we're going to table that.
Yes, okay, so we open it, we need to table it to a date
Okay,
and
so
time
we'll just
certain,
open that,
and
all
then-
right.
And then, but there doesn't need to be a presentation or the caption read.
You want me to make a motion?
All right, hang on, I got to open. We're going to go ahead and open for item 10B, consideration of ordinance number O-26-02, amending Article 4, land use compatibility table. Mr. Stokes.
Yes, we don't need to read the caption, but we would have to have a motion.
All right, Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion to table ordinance O-26-02 until a known date, certain date of May 26th.
Second?
Second.
Oh. So we have a motion and a second to table this item to May 26th. All right, do we need a roll call for that? Probably. Madam Clerk, call the roll.
It's a resolution.
Councilmember Nunn.
Yes.
Councilmember Matthews.
Yes.
Councilmember Dodd.
Yes.
Mayor Jones.
Yes.
Vice Mayor McPartland.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, we're going to move on to item 10C. Consideration of resolution number R-26-18. Mr. Stokes. Going to go ahead and open this hearing.
Mr. Mayor, I'm going to suggest that we do the annexation agreement and then the petition for voluntary annexation, do one hearing. So allow me to open them both, the resolution and the ordinance, and then we can have one public hearing, and then we'll take the questions one at a time.
All right.
Does that work?
It works for me.
Okay, so the first one is a resolution of the City of Sebastian, Indian River County, Florida, providing for an annexation agreement between the City of Sebastian, a Florida Municipal Corporation, and Luther Family LLC, LMNR Grove LLC, Shop Properties LLC, and GDC Florida 1 LLC to memorialize the parties' understanding and agreements with respect to the annexation of 382 acres, more or less, into the city, and with respect to the future development and use of the property, providing for conflict, providing for recording, providing for scrivener's errors, and an effective date.
All right, second.
So this is ordinance O-26-10, an ordinance of the City of Sebastian, Florida, providing for the voluntary annexation for land consisting of 382 acres, more or less, located south of 69th Street, east of 82nd Avenue, west of 78th Avenue, north of Sebastian River Improvement District, ditch C-8-E, providing for the extension of the corporate limits and boundaries thereof, providing for severability, providing for conflicts, providing for codification, providing for scrivener's errors, and providing for an effective date.
All right, thank you so much for that, sir. Staff, are we ready?
Yes, so we will start tonight with The applicant is Coulter Group Acquisitions LLC. The location is south of 69th Street, east of 82nd Avenue, west of 78th Avenue, and north of Sebastian River Improvement District, sublateral C8E. This is 382 acres, more or less, and they're requesting annexation into the city limits of Sebastian. On here, you can see the map of the projected parcels there. And adjacent land, City of Sebastian mixed-use land use is to the north, which is the Graves Brothers property, and it's county agricultural on the east, south, and west. And so the existing city boundary is to the north of 69th Street, which is the Graves Brothers property. And in looking at the comprehensive plan consistency analysis of the area in accordance with the comprehensive plan data, inventory and analysis, a conceptual development plan has been presented that proposes a very low density land use, which meets the requirements of the city's comprehensive plan. The land development regulations will provide for the final determination of development standards and permitted uses within the proposed development at time of planning. Site planning. And here is the conceptual plan that was submitted to our office. And when we look at public facilities and services, transportation, the analysis that has been provided has found that new development on the subject site has the potential of roughly 9,500 trips a day to the surrounding roadways. However, planned roadway improvements will help mitigate these impacts in addition to review and analysis that will be required during the development approval process. Water and sewer, if annexed, utilities will be provided by Indian River County through an existing agreement with the City of Sebastian. Stormwater, the property is within the Indian River Farms Water Control District. Future development must meet it's the Sebastian River Improvement District, my apologies, and St. John's River Water Management. Recreation, the proposed development meets the city's recreational requirements. In addition, future development will also contribute to park dedication and recreational impact fees to support additional facilities and programs. Compactness, the proposed annexation is a compact parcel of land. It's the proposed parcel to be annexed, its western property line is adjacent to the City of Sebastian's current boundary, and this is in the request for voluntary annexation is in accordance with Florida Statute 171.044. When we look at public benefit, again, increased tax base. The annexation will increase the tax base for the city. And then when we look at development standards, potential development will have to follow city development standards. And recreation fund, the potential development will have initial lump sum contribution and also per development parcel contribution at COs. And for those reasons, staff recommends approval of the request to annex the 382 acres known as Crestwinds and set the second reading for Tuesday, May 26.
All right, thank you so much for that. Is the applicant ready?
Good evening, Mayor, City Council members. Ken Toom with Urban Design Studio. Thank you for having me here this evening. Here this evening on behalf of Coulter Acquisitions Group. The Coulter Group is going to come up and explain their company and how they work. I've had the opportunity to work with them on many different projects across the state, and they are a very defined developer and builder, so they will ultimately end up building the final product on the site. But the item that is in front of you this evening, and I'll go through a series of slides, there are two items in front of you this evening. There's an annexation agreement and an ordinance on first reading. The annexation agreement sets up kind of the parameters. If you decide to move forward with this project, the annexation agreement, which is in front of me here, identifies very specific criteria that the developer must follow. And that is a resolution. That's what you're approving this evening if you move forward with that approval. The second part of it is an ordinance, which is the first reading of the actual annexation. allow me to walk through a few series of slides. So first, the team that is here this evening, and that we have a majority of the team, including gentlemen from the Coulter Acquisition Group. Mr. Weimer will be getting up and discussing Coulter and Coulter's proposal on the subject site. We have our civil engineer, Mr. Mills, is here. He will discuss the traffic, or he'll discuss the infrastructure. We have our transportation engineer, Mr. Lambert from TMC will be here. He will also discuss some items in regards to transportation. We have Ms. Sewell from Schutz, who actually authored with your city attorney in reviewing it, the annexation agreement. She's here to answer any questions you may have. And then, of course, the rest of the team here from Urban Design. So more specifically, what is in front of you is on the screen. As I said a couple seconds ago, the annexation agreement, Resolution 2618, is this agreement that outlines a few items. And then Ordinance 02610 is, yes, sir. Okay. Yes, sir, is on second reading. Is on first reading this evening. What is not in front of you this evening is a PUD. There's no plan, there's no zoning, there's no density increase, there's not a land use change. It is just a request to annex into the city, and then also to set some rules of the road that if you agree to annex into the city, you must meet this criteria to the developer. So the subject site identified on the screen in red is 382 acres. It is bounded by the north, I'm supposed to keep that down, bounded by the north by 69th Street, and to the west by 82nd Street, and to the east to the golf course known as Quail Valley. So the subject site on the screen. You will note here in more detail along the north property line is a continuity for the city. When you look at annexations, you have to be contiguous. The subject site meets that criteria. It is contiguous on the northern boundary, and then also it's compact. It's not creating a serpentine. It's not going on angles. It's not coming out in very small parcels of land. It is consistent and compact, meeting the state statute criteria. And here's our request this evening to annex it into the city of Sebastian. So I'm going to ask Mr. Darren Weimer to get up and discuss a little bit about Coulter Homes. Then after that, I'm going to have Mr. Mills come up to discuss the infrastructure and the annexation study, and then also our transportation engineer, Mr. Lambert. Mr. Weimer?
For the record, my name is Darren Weimer with Coulter Group Acquisitions. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, City Council members, and staff. I just want to say, start by thanking the city and staff for their professionalism throughout this process. Really appreciate the level of thought and collaboration that went into reviewing and preparing this annexation. Your long-term goals and visions were clearly stated, and we listened, so thank you. As stated, the applicant for annexation is Coulter Group Acquisitions. For those who may not be familiar with the Coulter Group, we're a Florida-based commercial and residential real estate development company with headquarters in Palm Beach County, Florida. We were founded in 1997, and to date we've done over $30 billion in real estate development across Florida and the southeastern United States. Our projects include master planned communities, multifamily apartments, luxury high-rise condominiums, and branded hotels. Across all of these, Coulter is recognized for delivering award-winning communities that emphasize quality, long-term value, and compatibility with the surrounding area. By annexation and future approvals, it's our intent to develop one of our award-winning Crestwind branded active adult communities of up to 900 single-family homes centered around a clubhouse amenity designed to support an active and connected neighborhood, which will be compatible with this city, will be compatible with the surrounding area as it develops in a positive addition to the city of Sebastian. As a result of due diligence process and coordination meetings, we recognize that the city has a recreational need and an interest in preserving working waterfronts. To that end, we're proposing contributions to a city recreational trust fund through an initial payment of $700,000, along with a $2,000 fee per residential unit, which will be collected as development occurs. These funds are dedicated solely to create and enhance much-needed recreational improvements such as parks, recreational facilities, and related amenities. We believe this annexation represents a well-planned opportunity to contribute to Sebastian's orderly growth, strengthen the city's tax base, and enhance the overall quality of development within the city. So with approval, we look forward to working closely with the city and being a positive part of Sebastian's future. Thank you again for your time and consideration. Turn it back to Ken.
All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you, Darren. it is difficult for someone to speak when they're not as comfortable speaking. So Darren and I did a very good job and appreciate that. So a couple things about the annexation agreement that is in front of you this evening, and Ms. Sewell's here can answer any very specific questions that you have. But as Mr. Weimer indicated, what is in here is our commitment to be very low residential density, your lowest residential, very low residential density, which allows up to 300 dwelling units per acre. The second thing that is in here is that commitment that Mr. Weimer just indicated, that there would be an initial payment of $700,000 and then a per unit payment of $2,000 into the recreation fund. And the third item, and the most important one, is that we're 100% within the jurisdiction of the city of Sebastian, meaning that we will abide by your rules and your development procedures, your regulations. So that's what the annexation agreement basically outlines, the rules of the road. The next item, which is the Florida statutes. So the actual annexation which occurs under Florida statutes, and Ms. Bernard indicated, is section 171.044. First thing, you must have all the consent of the property owner. So the statutes indicate that you must have all consent of the property owners. We have all the consent of the property owners. The second item, which is contiguous and compact, we meet those criteria for my review. Your staff has reviewed it, that we have met those criteria of being both contiguous and compact. And then finally, proper notice. Proper notice involves sending a letter to the county. It involves noticing in a newspaper. I know that your staff has done that, and I'm sure they will testify under oath that they have met all of those criteria for proper notice. So from a statute standpoint, we have met all of the criteria. Moving down to the next layer, within your comprehensive plan, you have a section that indicates what to do if someone requests annexation. That requires us to do an annexation study. Mr. Mills and Mr. Lambert are going to come up and discuss the key items in that annexation agreement, which is transportation and also infrastructure. And then also we're required to, if it is greater than 10 acres, we are required to submit a companion land use amendment. We have made that application to the very low residential density and also committed to that within this annexation agreement if you approve it. So I'm going to ask Mr. Mills to get up to discuss to discuss infrastructure, and then Mr. Lambert will discuss high-level transportation. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Luke Lambert with Traffic and Mobility Consultants. Quickly, to just go over transportation, I'm glad, Councilmember Nunn, that you are aware of the County Road 510 project. County Road 510 was recently transferred over to the Florida Department of Transportation, so it's technically a state road now. As part of this process, we have been in discussions with the Florida Department of Transportation and Indian River County Public Works Department throughout. We have an approved methodology where they reviewed the traffic methodology, and they have approved that as early as May of 2025. So again, we've been in discussions with them for over a year. On the screen, there are a couple of highlights of the future roadway projects that are coming online, especially with County Road 510. Drove through the corridor today, and it looks like they're moving along nicely. And especially for this project, the 82nd Avenue project is something that we've discussed with FDOT, and that is the number 4 and number 5 priority project of Indian River County MPO. Moving into the actual study, so we've conducted a transportation facilities analysis that looks at the short-term and the long-term impacts of transportation. So the high-level point here is that in 2045, when this analysis was completed, all roadway segments will operate at an acceptable level of service, according to the cost feasible plan that the MPO board has adopted. Again, we will go through further reviews for transportation impacts with Indian River County and FDOT to mitigate for specific intersection improvements and turn lanes, type of, small site impact transportation improvements like that. And that's it. I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Mills.
Good evening. My name is Wesley Mills with Mills Short & Associates. Thank you, Mayor and council members, for allowing us to be here tonight to present. Councilmember Nunn, I wanted to follow up on something you said earlier about a lot of planning has went into it, because there has been a lot of planning. We've been working on this project for 2 years, so it's nice to be recognized in the sense that a lot of thought goes into this. So what I wanted to do is go over infrastructure impacts and some of the capacity analysis that goes into all of this that gets submitted to your staff and reviewed through the annexation. First, I'll talk about the utility analysis. So first, we start with a capacity analysis, and we worked with Indian River County. They were one of our initial discussions on is there capacity in their utility system, will they allow us to connect, and what we need to do. There is more than enough capacity in both their water and sewer system. And we took that one step further that we normally wouldn't do in an annexation process, but we've gotten down the road with Indian River County as we've discussed the alignment. We know where the utility lines are going, how they're going to get to the site, how they're going to connect to the site. And the county has a master plan to bring utilities out to the existing residences of the Northwest County. And so our project will play a significant role in installing those utilities that the developer will pay for. One thing also, and when we talk about infrastructure, the developer will pay the entire cost to construct all the utilities to our site to provide service. We'll also pay for connection fees. Those connection fees are estimated to be about $4.5 million for this project. And then we'll have continuous service fees that also get paid to the county. The county has issued us a will serve letter. We've provided them with the same analysis that we've provided to your staff. They've reviewed it. They've provided a will serve letter that they are prepared to provide services and capacity to our project. These utility extensions will also provide public benefit, not just for our project, but a lot of the surrounding residences. I mentioned we're going to pay and extend a good portion of the utilities heading west for the county, but also will provide redundancies in the county system. So anytime there's a water main break within the system, because of the connections that we're making, we'll have redundancies to where they can turn off valves and fewer residents will be impacted. So our system will provide that, as well as just because of the redundancies, it will provide better water quality in the overall system and higher water pressures. Just taking a deeper dive into the numbers as far as capacity goes, Indian River County has 16.2 million gallons of water a day that they can provide in their system. Our project demand is 225,000. So that leaves the county with a surplus capacity about 9.7 million gallons per day of excess capacity. As far as wastewater goes, there's about 4 million gallons per day that's available by the county. Again, our project demand is 225,000, so that leaves the county with 1.5 million gallons of capacity in their current system. I wanted to move into stormwater. I know tonight we heard some information that I just don't think is correct and want to kind of go through stormwater with you. Our project is located in flood zone X, and there's portions also in flood zone AE. Most of our site that is in AE is the lower lying areas, mostly old citrus furrows, existing canals and ditches that run through our site. So we will fill those areas and raise the site, but to do that, we're going to have to offset the floodplain. And so the current design of the subdivision has larger than typical stormwater ponds to provide excess capacity into Sebastian River Improvements drainage system, because it will backflow into our site for flood protection, and the project will be out of the floodplain. This site is located in the Sebastian River Improvement District. I think one misinformation when we talk about development is the site is currently agriculture and and there's cattle on the property. When you talk about nutrient and pollutants from stormwater runoff into the lagoon, as the site sits in its existing condition, it has more pollutants leaving the site and more runoff leaving the site than when it gets developed. And we have to meet all the new St. John's stormwater requirements, which is pretty significant. In December, St. John's had an overhaul of the design and level of treatment that you have to have for stormwater runoff to address nitrogen and phosphorus. So our project will meet 95% treatment, which is a very high standard and significantly higher than the current property as it sits today. We'll go through multiple agencies that will review our drainage plans and make sure that we're in strict compliance and that we don't impact the city system, Sebastian River system, and ultimately the lagoon. The city engineering department will review this, Sebastian River Improvement District engineers will review this, and St. John's Water Management District will review this. We've already taken this project a step further than the annexation in that we've already had meetings with St. John's. We've already made formal submittals on an entire drainage design that they've reviewed and provided feedback to us. We've already had wetlands delineations, environmental assessments through FWC and St. John's, and we've made a design submittal to Sebastian River Improvement District. So we have taken this project far beyond just what we would normally do with an annexation to ensure that we aren't impacting any infrastructure with annexation of this project. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions, but I'll turn it back over to Ken for the remainder of the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a few more slides. The fun part. Now, this is not in front of you this evening, but on the screen in front of you is the plan that we have submitted to the city. And just to take a look, I know there are a couple questions about landscape and design. I can commit to you that Coulter is very focused on landscaping, their entry features, their amenities, their design. The landscape architect working on this is very talented. I happen to be married to her, so she's very talented and does a very good job on this site. And she is working on it in detail, and plans have been submitted to the city. But in front of you, you'll see the plan that we're proposing. And there's a couple key items and a couple public benefits that are on this plan that have not been identified yet. When you look at this plan, north is to the left. On the south side, because of the existing canal, we are dedicating additional land area for that canal along the south side of the property. Also, we are dedicating land area to the Department of Transportation for stormwater for 82nd Avenue. So that 1.84 acres is being dedicated. So there are some additional public benefits beyond the recreational public benefit that we indicated earlier. So that's the overall plan. One thing to note is the large amenity center. That's an important part of these active adult communities. That amenity center will be the hub of the community, and it will be a significant component of the project and of the residents, future residents who will live there. A couple quick items about access, always an important item. On the left-hand side, which is north, is 69th, and that's the main access point. And then on the bottom part of the screen, which is to the west, is a secondary, or is the other main access point on 82nd. So what does annexation do and what does it mean? What it means is it's under your control, your rules, your regulations. And I heard some things in the earlier conversation. You are planning for a long-term horizon here, and this is what gives the city a unique time. I've watched this over the course of my career, and this allows you to have what is in front of you and be able to manage what is in front of you in a longer-term horizon. It supports your housing goals. It extends your base, your fiscal base. So in conclusion, we have met all the criteria, and most importantly, this is a logical and an orderly boundary expansion as indicated by the statute and also by the city. Have our whole team happy to answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much for that, sir.
Yes, sir.
Don't hear it. We need another mic. Hear me now? Yeah, you can hear me now. Okay, very good. Thank you so much for that. Is there anyone from the public who would like to speak on this item? Yes, sir.
My name is Gary Combs. I live in the unincorporated area of Indian River County. This is like the other project. I just don't understand why you guys can't have more of a transitional density. This is 15 times more than what neighbors it. I know it's economics, but if people are willing to pay and build a house on 5 acres, one house on 5 acres, these developers should be able to do one house per acre, 2 houses per acre, but not the 3. There should be more of a transitional period. We've always been, Vero goes to Sebastian. If you drive between the two, you've always had a area between the two that distinguished, the two were separate. It was always more rural. And what you're doing now is you're bringing this density closer and closer to Vero. Vero's eventually going to go the other direction. And you're going to be like down south, where if you go south of here, from Jupiter down, it's one city. I just can't get that across to you. You cannot tell, there's no character between this city to that city. It never stops between. And like I mentioned earlier about the other property, I'll mention about this one. This one is literally 3/4 of a mile from the shooting range. It's not a matter of safety. That wasn't my point earlier either. It's about the noise. You're going to have 900 homes, however many people that is, 2,000 people or whatever it might be, 55 and older, moved here from most likely up north. They're not used to the lifestyle we have. And if I can hear the shooting from 3 miles away, and I don't have a problem with that, they're going to hear it from 3/4 of a mile away. So this project, the other project, any project that's anywhere near these type things, you need to somehow let the new residents sign off, not a deed restriction or anything like that, but acknowledgement that they know what's happening in the area. Just like you do for like the train, if you're next to a train track or an airport, they need to be aware of what's going on around there. You're going to get a lot of complaints. That's just where my viewpoint on things. Thank you, guys.
All right, thank you so much for that, sir. Is there anyone else? Anyone on Zoom? Oh, sorry.
I have
Come on up, sir.
Again, Chuck McLean, 1765 Laconia. If they come or if they don't, if you let them have the annexation or not, it wouldn't make any difference to me and my business. But what I will say to you is the Coulter Group is an honorable organization. And I will go back again to the whole point of who do we want to have in the accomplishment of this city growing. They'll be a good neighbor. They are an excellent corporation. They are people that keep their word. We had gone after them in the beginning to have Coulter be the builder in our Spirit of Sebastian, and it just, in their business plan, didn't work out. But the part of that was that I had an insight into their organization, and they are good people. And so you got to ask yourself, if you want to grow, can you grow with the people that are going to be a part of us and a part of a community? And I would say that they will fulfill that part of it. And that's the reason I would think that it would be a good situation to do. We talked about all the accomplishments of infrastructure and everything else. Wesley Mills did an excellent job of explaining all that. And again, if we're going to grow and we're going to take care of our sewer systems and things like this, the extension of this is part of what will be part of their plan, and that will help the overall vision of the city as well. And I would think that it would be a good thing to do. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much for that, sir. Do we have anyone on Zoom?
I have 2 hands raised on Zoom.
All right, bring them on. First one.
Hello, Ms. Herman. Can you hear us?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, this is Sharon Herman. And first of all, I'd like to thank the council and the staff for your service. And all the work that you do to put into our cities. I wanted to say that I totally agree with what Councilman Chris Nunn said earlier regarding the last annexation. If Sebastian wants to control development and growth, property needs to be within the city limits. If you look north, south, east, and west of our county, it's going to continue to grow. Every plot of land that's empty The owners cannot be expected to just pay taxes on that property and let it sit vacant because that's what we want. It's their land and they have the right to develop it. Now, do we want apartment complexes? Do we want 3-story hotels? Look at that hotel project that's on hold right now, but who knows for how long. If that property had been within the city limits, that wouldn't have been an option for them. The county or the city won't allow it, but certainly the county would. In my opinion, if 50 years ago, we should have annexed everything north to Broward County, south to 510, and west to 95. Thank you to the Graves family for loving their land and our city enough to offer annexation to the city in order to be able to control the rate and density in which Sebastian grows by offering the annexation to us. Landowners have the right to develop their land, and to think that citizens have the right to tell them they can't is ludicrous. I appreciate everything that you do, and I want to thank the council again, and please vote for annexation every chance you get. It's the only way we're going to keep from becoming Port St. Lucie or St. Lucie or Stewart or Jupiter or anything else. Thank y'all.
All right, thank you so much, ma'am. Did we have a second? Joe?
Hello, Mr. Gilliams, can you hear us?
Hello?
Yes, we hear you.
Yes, good evening. Good evening, Mr. Mayor.
Good evening.
Council. My name is Damian Gilliams. I'm a business owner in the community for over 40 years. Former city councilman, lost to spend time in jail. Anyway, there's a few things that cross my mind. It's obvious you guys have pretty much made your mind up. I'd like to look at these projects as an opportunity to partner with the developer and make sure that if there is an impact, that they share those expenses and that burden. Let me give you an example. So we annexed over 2,000 acres with the Graves brothers, and the annexations are coming. But I'm sure in your annexation agreement, it states that they don't pay any taxes because it's going to be in agriculture. With agriculture, you have an exemption. So the police department, are we going to be getting a ranch and grove unit now? And who's going to pay for that? Can we put something in the annexation agreement to cover any and all expenses that brings additional expenses and impacts our community? If we have to send an officer out to cover these 2,000 acres? Here's another point. The impact, we're a waterfront community. We don't have many script. You're going to double the size of our city, but you're not going to double the size of where we can park and get onto the river and get out to the ocean. There's no money set aside in your annexation agreement based on the number of units you're going to produce so that we can buy more property and put more parking and more boat ramps in. And I don't think anybody's talked about that tonight. Now, I just got out of another meeting, so I didn't hear most of the earlier meeting. But the stormwater, they must pay right away. There's no waivers. You got to pay as soon as you come in. And I know that there's a way that they can file an application, and being that there's no development, they're going to say, well, we're not going to contribute to stormwater. It's nice that they're donating $700,000 and they're going to get $2,000 per unit for recreation or what have you. But I think there's more that can be, to the community for this impact that they're bringing to us. And they're going to make millions and millions of dollars. So I think that we should go back to the negotiating table and take a good look at that annexation agreement, because it's going to cost the existing taxpayers a lot of money. You know it and I know it. Now, if those guys, the professionals that are sitting there, can get up and tell me how they can help with the impact that they're going to do to our waterfront with more slips and more parking, and how they can help with the additional Grove and Ranch police officers that we'll have to send out to their property, and how can we get taxes? Agriculture has exemptions. They're going to release a bunch of cows on these properties, and we're going to have to watch them, and there's no income. And so if the professionals that are sitting there after I hang up can address my concerns, I'd love to hear it.
All right, thank you, sir. Your time is up.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Thanks for your input. All right, do we have anyone else on Zoom? All right.
No one else has raised their
Public
hand.
input is closed. Staff, do you have a final? Nothing? Applicant, anything final after hearing whatever? Everyone's good? All right, this hearing is now closed. It's now time for us to deliberate and make a decision. Council?
Mr. Mayor, I just want to ask a question from the attorney. Were we wanting to do the annexation agreement first, then the annexation, then the,
Yes.
Yes.
okay,
Do the
just want to make
annexation
sure.
agreement.
Just wanted to make sure. Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve, resolution R 26-18.
All right, so we have a motion for R 26-18. Do we have a second?
Second that discussion.
Yeah. Yes, I do too, so, yeah, absolutely. We have a motion and a second. I've got one thing. I think on number 6, the recreational trust fund, that is separate from the rec impact fee. Is that correct? That does not affect the rec impact fee, though. That is totally separate and above and beyond the rec impact fee. And the other question is, 82nd Avenue has already been approved to be widened all the way from 69th Street to 510. Is that true? All right, thank you. That's all I have. Mr. Dodd.
That was actually, leads into my question. Yeah, 82nd Avenue, that's all approved by the MPO and it's moving through, but I don't know who to ask this of, but has the right-of-way on 82nd Avenue that's adjacent to this property been dealt with FDOT? That was an issue with Graves' property. We ran into that. I just want to make sure that that's... We got you, I think.
Okay. There you go. Again, Luke Lamer with Traffic and Mobility Consultants. Just a little clarification. 82nd Avenue is approved to be a new 2-lane roadway. So the southern limits are from 26th up to 69th, and then from 69th up to 510. So the project is approved through DOT. It's working its way through the work program. It's the number 4 and 5 priority project. So construction funding is a little further out. It's going to follow the 510 project, but it is one of the county's priority projects. So it's a new 2-lane roadway.
Yes.
I understand that. I'm on the MPO, so I understand that process. My question is, the right-of-way from 69 South, has that been approved and has that been granted by, and are the property owners for this property involved in that right-of-way acquisition? So I'll tell you why I'm asking that. Yes. We annex this and we approve it, the property value skyrockets, right-of-way cost skyrocket. From an MPO perspective, that's a question that I think needs to be dealt with.
And that's what, I don't know the particulars of that, but Mr. Whit Mills, I believe, knows a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so as it relates to the right-of-way, DOT is in active discussions with property owners along that corridor, and every property owner is slightly different in that timing, but our commitment is that we have built into the project that we will dedicate that land to DOT. I think it's 50 feet along the entire frontage.
All right, because I noticed that there's a stormwater lake that I understand from the presentation was part of a DOT stormwater off of 82nd Avenue. You mentioned that. So is that part of the right-of-way discussion with FDOT?
Yes, they have a design from, I think it's 36 up north to our property limits. And so we took their design plans, incorporated the right-of-way setback, and then they had a pond in the vicinity of our property, so we incorporated it.
Perfect.
We made it prettier, though, than what DOT had, but yeah.
I just don't want us to take an action that causes FDOT issues with getting that right away, because getting 82nd Avenue done is highly important for Sebastian.
And our project, too, so understood.
All right, anything else, Mr. Dodd?
I'm fine. I right along with the last piece of property we talked about. I see this as, once again, and I know what some of the speakers talk about, the fact that Graves hasn't had anything done with it. There's been a lot of work done on trying to develop the Graves property. It's not like no one's doing anything. And I will tell you, part of the issues maybe that they're dealing with is the fact that our development agreement with the Graves property that the council put together was not an easy agreement, and the developers have to deal with it. And so it's beneficial to Sebastian because it protects the city and it protects its residents. Makes it more difficult for a developer to do what they want to do with that property. But there are going to be commercial, there is going to be, I shouldn't say are, there is going to be development, commercial development on that property, hopefully along the 82nd Avenue corridor, which will feed right into this. This is another one of those neighborhoods to that 2,000 acre mixed-use PUD, which will have more than one town center if they want more than one mixed-use PUD. And so hopefully this will lead right into that. And I just, you know, people talk about vision. The city staff and the city manager, two managers back, and the council have been working on visioning on this stuff for a long time. It's important for people to understand that this isn't, I know it was a voluntary annexation application, but quite frankly, if we could annex it without the property owners wanting to voluntarily do it, we would have probably already annexed this property, quite frankly. So it's important to the city that we do this, and it's important to the city that we begin to build our commercial footprint. And this is another one of those things that'll lend towards that. You get houses being built in a nice subdivision that's well put together, that sell above the average in the area. That generates revenue to people who want to build commercial. They see this as customers. They don't see this as urban sprawl. They see this as customers, and that's what we want. Somebody told me today they couldn't understand why you don't have a Trader Joe's or something like that. And I buy the property and build one, but by golly, you're going to have a hard time getting customers, you know. So until we do something and make this an appropriate place for that to happen. So yeah. I'm in favor of this. Thank you.
Yeah, so, and I agree, but, you know, the other thing is, it was said earlier, but there was a couple of meetings back, I think I spoke about us controlling growth and all of that, and we do. I like this project. I think this fits our plan, our long-range plan that we've been working on, but I would suggest that we not go any further south. And that's all I would say. There's opportunities for other spaces here on the western end, northern end of the city, and I would suggest that we don't go any further south. So that's all I have to say on that part. So, anything else, Mr.
Yeah, one other thing. I do want to make it clear that when the mayor asked those two questions, unfortunately, everybody answered with a head shake, but they were both yeses to his questions. Just for the record, because there was nothing on the record, that those were both answered with a yes. You know, I don't know if anybody noticed on that map that they put up there, but you had Graves Brothers here, that property right here. I don't know if everybody noticed Fellsmere right here. It's literally as wide as this property to Fellsmere. I guess I missed where all of these groups that are against us annexing 200 acres, I guess I missed where they were against Fellsmere annexing it all on the left-west side. I mean, it's all right there. We didn't want Fellsmere to be down there. I mean, we don't want Fellsmere to be down there. We want it to be Sebastian. So I just, you know, it's perspective. Thank you.
All right. If there's anything further, Ms. Matthews, nothing?
No, I'm still going to stand by my statement that I've said many times now, that's growing with grace. And again, if we do not annex it, if it does not belong to us, we don't control it. This is the annexation. This is the beginning, and then we get into the minutia and the whole building. And as we go further and as we get in, then we have that control in what we're doing, and we work with these folks. And I get that people are scared. I get that when you've lived here for lots of years and you don't see this growth, and you don't want this growth because you like your privacy, you like your woods, you like your trees, that sometimes this gets a little scary, but you have to trust what's been put in place over the years. You have to trust the processes. You have to trust the people taking care of the processes and making sure that everything is good. And I hope that the city of Sebastian, the communities, and the residents can join us instead of constantly misleading and putting that misinformation out there, and work with us. Ask the questions instead of trying to argue that you have something that you don't. We are here to do this together and to grow together, and again, to grow with grace.
All right. Thank you so much for that, ma'am. So we have the motion and second for R-26-18. Madam Clerk.
Councilmember Matthews.
Yes.
Councilmember Dodd.
Yes.
Mayor Jones.
Yes.
We've lost communication with Vice Mayor McPartlin. Councilmember Nunn.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, outstanding. Now we will move on to O-26-10. No.
Do we need a motion on that?
Yeah. Do we need a motion on that? Yes.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion to, go ahead. You read the title already, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll make a motion to approve ordinance O-26-10.
Second.
Okay, Mr. Mayor?
Yes,
I'd
sir.
like to do the same request on that I did on the first one, the conceptual plan be made part of the package that was submitted to the council.
Understood.
And that if it's a requirement that we modify that motion, then I can ask Councilmember Nunn to do that. I don't know, it's up to the attorney if he thinks.
Is it there?
Yeah, we will enter it into the record and we will include it for second reading.
Okay.
All right.
Then I'll second Councilmember Nunn's motion.
Okay. Outstanding. All right, so we have a motion and a second. Do we have any other discussion? Hearing none. Madam Clerk?
Councilmember Dodd.
Yes.
Mayor Jones.
Yes.
Councilmember Matthews.
Yes.
Councilmember Nunn.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Mr. Attorney, did we need to set the second reading date in that motion?
Oh.
I would like to.
Yeah, let's go ahead and.
We need to, how would we like to do that? Do we wanna-
It has been advertised.
Okay, do we want to
Public hearing, but let's get it on.
withdraw
let's
it
get
or
it on
just
the
do a
record.
second motion?
No, you can do a second motion. You can just clarify your motion.
I'm going to clarify my
And then
motion
revote.
to ordinance O-26-10 and set a second reading for May 26th of 2026.
I'll second that.
All right, so we got that cleared up now. We have motion and second. Madam Clerk?
Councilmember Dodd.
Yes.
Mayor Jones.
Yes.
Councilmember Matthews.
Yes.
Councilmember Nunn.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, thank you so much. All right, item number 10E. Consideration of ordinance O-2611, amendment for the police pension plan, first reading. Who do we have?
Let me read it and then I'll take it.
Okay.
An ordinance of the City of Sebastian, Florida, amending Chapter 58, Article 3, Police Officers Retirement Plan, amending Section 58-70.4, Employment After Retirement, providing for severability, providing for codification, providing for the repeal of all ordinances in conflict, providing for Scrivener's errors, and providing for an effective date.
All right, thank you so much for that, sir.
Mr. Mayor, I move approval of ordinance O-2611 on first reading and set the second reading for
26.
May 26th?
May 26th.
Second? So we have a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion? Is there anyone from the public who would like to speak on this? Seeing none, anyone on Zoom?
I have one hand raised on Zoom.
Go ahead, bring them on.
Hello, Mr. Gilliams, can you hear us?
Good evening, Mr. Mayor. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you for taking my call. The police department works very hard for our community. They don't get paid enough as it is. So whatever you can do to assist them during these hard times and their family, the community, I'm sure, is behind them. They're a great police force, and I'm sure you guys are going to do the right thing. Thanks again, Mr. Mayor.
All right, thank you so much, sir. All right, anyone else from the public? All right, public input is closed. Council, did we make the motion?
And
Yeah, we already
second.
had a motion
Yeah,
and a
and second.
Yes, sir.
Okay, call, Madam Clerk?
Mayor Jones.
Yes.
Councilmember Nunn.
Yes.
Councilmember Matthews.
Yes.
Councilmember Dodd.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, thank you. There's no unfinished business. We'll move on. Move on to new business, consideration of employment agreement for the city clerk. We've spent some time Ms. Garcia, if you want to come forward, you guys have looked at that. Does anyone have any questions about the agreement we signed or will sign?
No.
Mr. Mayor, I move approval of the contract with our new city clerk that she can go to work.
I'll second that so she can get to work.
I'll make it so she can go to work. Okay, so,
They haven't finished her office yet. I see it's being painted, but,
yeah,
so.
I think they may have gotten that done today or close. Okay. All right. So we have a motion and a second. Madam Clerk?
No, public input.
Is anyone from the public want to speak on this? Anyone on Zoom?
No one has raised their hand.
Thank you so much. Madam Clerk?
Councilmember Nunn.
Yes.
Councilmember Matthews.
Yes.
Councilmember Dodd.
Yes.
Mayor Jones.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right. Welcome aboard,
Welcome aboard.
Ms. Garcia.
Congratulations.
All right. Our next item is item 12B, consideration of change order number 3 in the amount of $59,990. Ms. Graham.
Good evening, Council.
Evening.
So this is a change order for Johnson Davis. We awarded them a contract back in 2024, which is for the Gardenia Ditch drainage improvement. So they're about 60% complete with that project, but we noticed they did not, in the initial drawings, we did not have a crossing that was at Riviera Avenue. So the city went back to the contractor and asked them for a quote to install a road crossing at Riviera Avenue. So that is why this change order is being brought. It is something that the city has initiated. So we are requesting approval to not only issue a purchase order for this change order number 3, but also to use discretionary sales tax fund reserves in order to cover this project, because this amount was not included in the original contract price. So if anybody has any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Any questions from council? No? All right. Anyone from the public who would like to speak on this item? Anyone on Zoom?
No one has raised their hand.
Public input is closed. Council?
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve change order 3 in the amount of $59,990.
Do we have a motion? Do we have a second?
I'll second that. I just have a question.
All right. We have a motion and a second. Discussion, Mr. Dodd.
Okay, this is probably for Brian, but how close are we to being done with that? Is this getting near the end?
Yeah, so the ditch is about 80% complete. In regards to installing the pipe, they will complete the last section, I believe, this week or next week. Then they'll do the road crossing if it gets approved tonight. And then they've got to go back and finish some site work back through the ditch. But as far as installing the pipe, we're about 80% complete.
Okay, because we're pulling like these change dollars out of our reserves, basically. And I'm just wondering if maybe the budget item needs some shoring up, or is there any reason for us to think that we might need to do that?
No. So the original project, and so to give you a little bit of detail, this project was designed 7 years ago.
Yeah.
And at that time, and we found this in other areas in the ditch, that the elevations were incorrect. So as we've been going through this, our staff recognized that the pipe underneath Riviera is the completely wrong elevation. It was never installed correctly from the beginning, and that was not part of this project. That was back in GDC or whoever did it back many years ago. So in order to facilitate and not cause an additional problem after we've done the site work and the new piping of the ditch, we need to replace this pipe. So the original project is on budget. We are adding a few extra days, but this will be additional to that existing project as we go forward.
I saw Karen shaking her head yes like that, so she was okay with it.
She briefed me well before the meeting.
All right. Is that it for you, Mr. Dodd?
Yes, sir.
All right. I have nothing.
I know they'll be happy to have this project done.
Yes.
I know, right? For
This
sure.
is one of 2 ditches that,
I hope to not hear Gardenia again.
yes.
All right, anyone from the public, did we call that? Nothing? All right, Madam Clerk, roll call?
Councilmember Nunn.
Yes.
Councilmember Matthews.
Yes.
Councilmember Dodd.
Yes.
Mayor Jones.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, thank you so much. Our next item is item number 12C, consideration of change order number 1 in the amount of $27,700 for Johnson, Merriman, and Thompson. Ms. Graham.
So this change order, it goes along with the change order that we just received for Johnson Davis. Johnson, Merriman, and Thompson, they are the engineer of record. So because we are adding the crossing to the Johnson Davis contract, as well as adding additional days, we need to add additional days for our engineer so they can continue on with their construction inspection services. So that's what this change order will do. We're also asking to, again, use reserve funds because this was not part of the initial project. This is something separate that we're doing. And Karen is here to elaborate.
One of the reasons we need to add this time is because of Gopher Tortoise delays as well as AT&T coordination. So because of those delays, we expended a lot of hours at the beginning of the project, so we need additional time for them to be able to inspect all of the work that gets completed.
There's that Gardenia word again.
Yeah, all right.
Mr. Mayor, I move approval of change order 1. Do I need, I move approval of this item.
Second.
All right, so we have a motion and a second. Is there anyone from the public who would like to speak on this item? Anyone on Zoom?
No one has raised their hand.
All right, public input is closed. Madam Clerk?
Councilmember Matthews. Yes. Councilmember Dodd.
Yes.
Mayor Jones.
Yes.
Councilmember Nunn.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Where are we? 143. Yes.
Now you're on the additional.
Yeah, where'd I have it? Oh, there we go. All right, sorry. We had an addition, item number 12D. Who's doing this, Ms. Graham?
I'm going to handle it for her.
Okay.
So this item is a request of City Council for a purchase order in the amount of $29,212.47 to replace the irrigation system suction lines at the golf course. As you all know, we're in the season that, yes, we do get some rain, but lately we haven't received a lot of rain, so we need irrigation functioning at full capacity. There were some issues with the irrigation at the golf course, and Hoover Pumping Systems, who manages and oversees the main jockey pump that facilitates the irrigation, came out. They noticed that the 3 suction lines, we had some issues with 2 of the 3, and they recommended that these suction lines were installed back in 2008. They had exceeded their lifespan, and so we are requesting to utilize golf course reserves to issue a purchase order to replace these 3 suction lines to provide uninterrupted water supply for our irrigation at the golf course in the amount of $29,212.47.
Is this just the, at the pump level or out throughout the area? Is this just at the pump, the suction?
Yeah, so the suction lines go from the main jockey pump out into the pond, the main irrigation pond that we're coming out of. There's
Right.
3 lines that go out there.
Oh, okay. So it's not a long distance there.
Let's see, I know in their quote, they gave us the exact distances. It didn't give us the distance of it, with the distance of it. I apologize for that. But it is one's a 8-inch, or 2 are 8-inch pipes, and one is a 4-inch pipe. And they would install a new, check valve as well. Greg, do you happen to know the approximate distance from the pump that the
I
suction
do.
lines?
It's about 60 feet from the pump station going out to that irrigation lake. You probably see those floats sitting on top of the water. That's where the end of those pipes are.
Oh, okay, that's what the pipes are.
Yeah.
Okay, I got it. All right, thank you. I have no questions. With that, I'll move approval. So you have a second? We have a second? All right, is there anyone from the public who would like to speak on this item? Seeing none, anyone on Zoom?
No one has raised their hand.
Mr. Dodd.
Dodd. So public input is closed. Madam Clerk?
Councilmember Dodd.
Yes.
Mayor Jones.
Yes.
Councilmember Nunn.
Yes.
Councilmember Matthews.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, next item on our agenda is the city attorney matters. Mr. Stokes.
Just a couple things. One is the Charter Review Committee wrapped up the first phase. Actually, it's kind of the complete phase for them, except for they do stay formed until after council acts. But they do have 4 proposals. I just wanted to tell you tonight that I'm going to be sending those out to you tomorrow. It's going to be on the agenda, on your agenda on May 26th. Your role at this point is to either accept their recommendations, reject them, come up with any of your own, change anything they gave, or send it back to them. I mean, every option's available to you because this is ultimately your decision. And that's why I want to send those 4 proposals, if you haven't seen them already, send their 4 proposals to you so that you have more than a couple days to look at them before the meeting on the 26th. So when you get them, you'll understand why I sent them out to you at this point. So, and if there's any questions, obviously, you can call me anytime. Second thing is I'm going to be away this weekend, but I'm going to be available, have my laptop with me and have my phone with me. But I'm heading up. My son's graduating with his master's degree from the University of Notre Dame, and he has some very proud parents that are going up there to watch that. But I will be accessible to you and to staff while I'm up there. So.
All right, thank you so much for that, sir. Anything else from you, Mr. Stokes? That's it?
That's it. Thank you.
Mr. Benton?
I have nothing tonight, thank you.
All right. What? Whoa, I'm
You okay?
hold on right here. City Clerk, I know you have something to say now, don't you?
Congratulations to Jane, and I'm looking forward to working with you. That's all I have.
All right, thank you so much. City Council matters. Let's start off with Ms. Matthews.
I have nothing tonight.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Mr. Dodd.
Okay,
Okay.
I do have something.
Okay.
All right, I hate to admit that I look at Facebook and some of this other social media stuff, but I do. And one of the common threads that I've seen as we've been through this annexation stuff, and actually I even heard it from one of our own boards the other night about, well, why don't we plan this stuff better? Is the fact that people don't think we plan things very well. And given the annexation as a particularly important issue, I'd like to recommend that we ask the city manager to put together, I can work some way or another and try to explain this, but put together some type of a plan to define the boundaries of what we are looking for as a city. We have a strategic plan, but no place in that does it say we want the city to be Orlando or we want the city to be whatever. I don't want it to be any of that, but I'm talking about looking at potential growth areas, looking at potential city boundaries, looking at the corporate impacts of those on the city and on its residents, and try to put together a document in which we articulate. I think this evening, one of the speakers actually threw back against the mayor a statement that he made on a radio show that was not part of any city sanction plan. It was him saying something on a radio show. And I think we need to put together something that fits within that. I'm not talking about changing the comp plan. I'm not talking about changing the line development code. I'm talking about a document that is presented to and is reviewed by the council that says this is where we are proposing that this city go. Okay? And if we agree, for example, what you said earlier, Mr. Mayor, about I don't want to go any further south, if we make an agreement to that, then let's put that in that document. Okay? That we don't want to go any further south. I don't know that I agree with that personally, but that's a debate, an issue that we can discuss. I personally think maybe we should go to 53rd Avenue or 53rd Street. I kind of like 53rd Street. When they finish it all the way out to
95.
somewhere, well, past 95, there's an overpass on 95 already planned for that. And FDOT has already said that's the next 95 exit at 53rd Street, Sebastian, and 53rd Street. That's going to be the Fellsmere exit. So I'm proposing we do that. I don't know, Brian, how you want, if it's an agreement on, a consensus on the part of the council to move forward, I don't know how you want to deal with that. I'm sometimes really good at throwing problems at people and then walking away and letting them deal with them. I think I did that to you once on the pest management plans, sitting in Paul's office. And it turned out very well, actually. We turned out having two great documents that were something that very few cities actually have. So it's a good deal. So if you'd like to comment.
Yeah, I mean, if council provides direction on this, then obviously we'd put together some employees from the city. And if you want us to include staff from the county or look at Fellsmere as well, because obviously they're they're right on our borders, we can do that. My only concern is I don't want, and I think we've made it known, they don't drive the decisions in Sebastian. We're here to develop and plan with what's best in Sebastian, but I think we can work together and potentially bring something back. And if they're not willing to, be involved, then we'll work from a staffing level and develop something, if that's council's.
Because I see this as something that will allow us to let the citizens know that we are planning this. Let the council itself come to some conclusion and agreement on what that direction is and what the city might want to look like. That can be the beginning document. I'm not 100% sure that we can be very successful bringing the county and Fellsmere into this at this stage, because you get two or three disparate groups trying to come together, and the question is, are they going to battle each other and head knock? If we could bring them in at the point in time which we can say, this is our view of where this might need to go, then we have a discussion point. Then we have a point of negotiation, basically, at that point in time. So I'm asking for council consensus to ask Brian to move forward with this.
I agree with this. I think that it's something that's way overneeded, long overdue. But possibly using our comp plan as your guide, of course, and a summarization of what that big comp plan is, and something a little smaller, to where we can look at it as a guide and say, okay, this is what we are, this is what we're doing. That's my 2 cents.
I was going to say, I agree, and it does not, I think this meeting and this discussion needs to happen within us. I don't think we need to involve, at this point, I think we have to have our understanding of what we want before we can say, what do you think we should do? Because, I just don't think they have our best interest at heart. We do have our best interest at heart. So I think a discussion within us about this, plan for ourselves, I agree with what Councilmember Matthews just said, and take the comp plan and maybe we look at possibly amending our comp plan according to the discussion down the road. I mean, it's possible. So, but I think it's a good discussion. I think it's definitely overdue as well.
And I agree. I think that's why I said earlier about moving further south, or whatever we decide to come up with. But, certainly we need to have a plan and put out there, let everyone knows that what our direction is for the future of this city. So it's important that we put something that the residents can see and understand. So I think it needs to be done with us.
That's a consensus for Brian to come back. You want to come back with a plan to do the plan or something like that?
Yeah, let me get with staff, and we'll come back to you all.
Okay.
Yeah, we can definitely workshop those things. So, Mr. Nunn, you're up.
And you'll probably see that on Facebook tomorrow by 51st. But obviously, I don't really care for Facebook. I don't go on there much. Just kidding. I spend time on there. I work IT, so I spend a lot of time in front of my computer, and it's probably a bad on me, but because I do spend a lot of time on there. And, I had someone say one time, well, you always have an answer. Well, no, I just hate to see misinformation. It drives me crazy to see lies and misinformation. And you may agree with my opinion or not agree with my opinion, and I'm fine with that. That's great. You may not agree with any of us up here, But none of us are lying to you. You know, I know politicians in the world that, you know, they make it bad for the rest of us, but I'm proud to serve with these other 4 people I serve. I mean, 4 of us are veterans, and one of has been a civil servant. She's worked for the government for her entire career and given to the community. And if you think that's an easy thing, you know, you don't make a ton of money working. I worked for the county for 12 years. You don't make a ton of money working for the county or city. So you have to do it because you love it. You have to do it because you care about your community. We do this because we care about our community, because if you think that $600 a month we get is the reason, then I'm sorry, because you need more money. But that $600 a month definitely is not a reason to do this job. And I don't think a single one of us up here would ever think that or agree that that's the reason. We do it because we love this city. We raised our kids here. We love how the community is. And I know you always want to think, some always want to think the worst of us, but at the end of the day, we're doing what we want to do because we love it, and we want our grandkids to grow up here too.
Yeah, absolutely. And I have nothing further, so this meeting is adjourned.